We the Fans is the #1 sponsor in battle rap. My name is Frank White, and I probably contributed to some of your favorite battles. I mean, in the last 4 years, I donated $222,000 to battle rap for the culture. Check out We the Fans Global on Instagram for the full catalog of battles I sponsor. And follow We the Fans Global on YouTube to watch full battle breakdowns from a sponsor's perspective and a recommendation for what battles should be booked next. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and keep stepping into your greatness. We the Fans is for the culture.
We are here. We the Fans Marvel. Let's get to it. We got Chris Tex in the building and J Smo. Fellas, how y'all doing?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Always good, even when it's bad. So Spider-Man trailer is the first subject that we're gonna talk about. Before we get to it, everybody here seen the Spider-Man trailer?
Yes, sir. Of course.
Okay, so we're gonna start with Smo. Smo, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
Oh man, obviously I think it's epic. Anytime Spider-Man's one of those that right up there with Batman, those two touchdown, everybody pays attention instantly. There's really nothing to talk about. And I think that it's a trailer that we know there's a lot of ideas they're trying to push into the film, from antagonists to storylines. No one's been able to really pinpoint anything. Even with the trailer leaking, there's not been any real like direct kind of hit on the plot. And now the trailer's got people theorizing a couple things that, if you know deep into the Spider-Man mythos and lore, that are kind of possibly getting hinted at. And also, we still don't have an antagonist, #1 antagonist, like villain pin. Actually, a few different ones that have been shown. So I'm overly excited. And there's a chance that, who knows, maybe this will be the best Tom Holland Spider-Man film yet.
Okay. Tex, talk to the people. What are your thoughts on the trailer?
So to preface this, I have a lot of thoughts. I know it's only 2 minutes. First of all, shout out to them almost doubling the second most views in 24 hours for a movie trailer. Wolverine and Deadpool, I believe, was second, not counting GTA, which is the video game, but 718 million, some crazy number in the first 24 hours. So shout out to them. So first, kind of like on the nerdy side, it's a different director from the first 3 Tom Holland films. It's the director that did Shang-Chi, and he was gonna do the Kang Dynasty, but obviously that fell apart, and he's not doing that one. So that kind of matters a little bit. But I have so many thoughts on this whole trailer, and so many things that are shown on this trailer. So obviously, everyone forgot who Peter was, right? And that's kind of like the storyline going in. No one remembers you, and trying to get MJ to remember you. One, I definitely think MJ is going to remember him, right? I don't know if you guys are on board. She's wearing the same necklace that he bought her, and I believe it was Far From Home. You see the flowers that he had, given. She already has them in a vase. Like it just gives the vibe that obviously MJ is somehow going to remember.
Did you see the background, her wall, when they meet? Did you see she's got a bunch of pictures of Spider-Man on the wall? So she's clearly doing some kind of investigation to find them.
So she still remembers Spider-Man as Spider-Man, just not as Peter Parker. So you actually see them having a conversation, but he's in full costume. Right. So the big thing here is Sadie Sink, right? We're bringing in what we all assume is going to be Jean Grey, right? They haven't been able to use the word mutant or mutate, and they do in the trailer, right? The Smart Hulk mentions the mutation. You see the whole thing about him not having the web shooters, and kind of like Tobey Maguire, having the webs come actually out of his body. He's there in a cocoon upside down. So I figure that mutation is going to do this whole thing and somehow bring up mutants, right? They're somehow going to bring Jean Grey into this.
And the leaked photos, or even the little bit that you do see of her character, the background, you're seeing a lot of plays in like green and yellow, you know what I'm saying? Traditional fit for her in some of the X-Men adaptations. So it would be crazy. There's been some other, I see like almost like C-list level villains that I think that people have pinned on her, but I refuse to believe that Sadie Sink is being brought in for anything less than like a big time role. And she fits the character from a physical perspective so perfect. And I think she's a big part of the movie too, Chris and Frank, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. You see, like there's a scene where she's like in a containment facility. I think she's gonna be a huge part. She's the one in the hoodie. I don't know if the hoodie with the shows up back. But
it hasn't been revealed where you can see the back of the hoodie for sure.
She's also casted in Secret Wars. So so as much as people are theorizing it may not be Jean Grey, what small time character is going to be casted in Secret Wars?
And speaking of and my last point on it, but it's a huge scene in the trailer, is the tank. When he finally takes the tank down, there's like an old lady in there, and you're kind of seeing some sort of like mental manipulation. I mean, it's like kind of all textbook. I feel like they refuse to say it, which I get. Save it until it's like in the movie itself, or when someone leaks it, which seems to happen all the time nowadays. But if she is, I believe, I don't remember the gentleman that's going to be playing head of the anti-mutant task force as well. He makes an appearance in the trailer.
Severance.
And I believe that's going to tie directly like that. I wouldn't even be surprised if that's one of the base plot points of the entire movie. And the mutation of Spider-Man, which is the whole second half of the trailer, also seeming to be a big part of it.
Are we speaking of mutation of Spider-Man? Are we getting, I think, what was it called? Man Spider? Is that what we're getting here? Is that what it's hinting towards? What are y'all thoughts?
What do you think, Chris?
I mean, I think it's definitely hinting towards him. You know, they mentioned like the 3 life cycles of a spider, which, by the way, is complete bullshit. The spider doesn't have 3 life cycles, but you know, they're just trying to say he's going to the next cycle, I guess, which is becoming, you know, being able to create those,
being an actual spider. So we're gonna see Peter Parker with like 17 arms and
no, but it's funny you say that. I don't know if you noticed the logo on his chest changed. You know, before it was like the old school it was like the mechanical spider. Now on his new uniform in this movie, it's the full spider legs. Spider. Like yes, wow. like the old ones, and that's kind of huge. I also feel like there's some scenes, like specifically when he's fighting the Hand at the end. You see he's fighting the group, the Hand, where I feel like the Marvel's done this before, where they edited out other people in that picture so that it doesn't give it away. I feel like there's definitely other people in there. But I do love the essence of being a street level film. You know, no one knows who he is anymore, so you could kind of have those people like Scorpion, like Tombstone, like Boomerang, Tarantula. These are all people that were in that short trailer. So you could have these like street level fights, which kind of is like old school Spider-Man. You know, we used to just watch them fight these, you know, street level villains. So we're gonna get all that jam packed into one movie.
I was going to add on that too. And I think that's kind of the coolest thing about this is, you know, one, to touch on the Man Spider thing. I think that could be very possible. There's so many things pointing in that direction. I believe there's another storyline called The Other that deals with Peter's mutations, where he doesn't go full, like anyone that's seen the pictures from the cartoon where he's literally like a fucking Shaquille O'Neal size spider. Like I don't like that. I don't know if they'll fully go that route, how they want to adapt that, but the storyline called The Other kind of plays in the same thing with his mutation. He gets fucking like spider, like little thorns and shit like that. But either way, I think you're going to see like him go to a next level of power, especially with Doomsday on the horizon. They probably want to have him storyline wise as powerful as he possibly can be. But it's something else that's cool is that we've seen so many different villains. Obviously, Scorpion is very front and center. Who knows if Jean Grey will be a full ally throughout, or kind of maybe come together at the end and work together. Tombstone, Tarantula, Boomerang. So I could see a world where it's almost a montage or segments where he's beating all these various villains, but it's more about the toll it's taking on his body and his evolution more than it is one villain that we're going after. I think this might be the most Spider-Man centric Tom Holland movie that you'll see out of all of them, where there's going to be a bunch of small villains, but I don't think there's going to be a bunch of huge characters that take up, you know, the emotional storytelling that they're going to put into them for this film.
I also feel like, you know, I know contractually there's some bullshit where Kingpin can't be in it, right? You know, there's some BS, but I feel like his presence is going to be like kind of like over the entire film. Yeah. Like I feel like they have to, because he's such an awesome character, and the way he's portrayed by the actor is amazing. But there are some like you know, direct hints of what's going to happen in Daredevil Born Again season 2. You know, you see Sheila you know, giving him the key to the city, and you know, kind of portrays that maybe she's the mayor now. So I don't know if you know, we're going to see that storyline happen in season 2 of Daredevil. But
speaking of Daredevil, we did see Peter jump in to fight the Hand. They kind of remind me of the ninjas from Ninja Turtles, Shredder's minions. But what are y'all thoughts on that? Why are we getting the Hand? Do you think there's going to be a Daredevil appearance in this movie?
For sure. 100% Matthew Murdock is going to be in this movie.
But he keeps saying he's not.
You're that confident. I mean, it would make all the sense in the world. I mean,
I am super
in New York, you would have to really do some weird bending around. You know, the MCU wants to keep everything connected. You know, how would all this be going on in New York. And it's not going on in the show for Daredevil, but it's not going on in the movie for him either.
It wouldn't make sense.
I think it could be very possible. And he's probably, if they do have people blurred out, I know the exact scene you're talking about, Chris, where he's like jumping down on the top and they're all, there's a really good chance. But, you know, we know also Punisher and Hulk are going to be in this film. So I don't know how they're going to divvy up the time. And if Daredevil is in it, I'm sure it will be for like one of the quicker appearances, since it really looks like, you know, Bruce Banner and Daredevil and Punisher are going to be kind of ongoing characters throughout the film.
Yeah.
But there's a lot going on in that movie, man.
Speaking of the Hulk, I did not watch She-Hulk. So I need one of y'all to explain to me, what is that on the Hulk's arm?
So it's basically something that keeps him in the Bruce Banner form. So they kind of talked about it in She-Hulk specifically, but it did break, I believe, in She-Hulk. But obviously it's back. But it's just something to keep him in certain form. You know, there's talks of possibly Savage Hulk coming back in this movie too. That would be super exciting to see him like that again. But yeah, it's just to keep him in that form. I believe.
Yeah. And a theory too, I do believe we're going to see. That's one I'm also pretty confident on. We definitely get Hulk back in like real Hulk shit. And but I think the coolest thing is that I think that they're gonna, and we'll see. It's a bold prediction, but you know, with the spell that made everyone forget that you know, Peter Parker, you know what I'm saying, Spider-Man is Peter Parker, forget about him just as a whole being. I do think when Banner is inevitably going to go into the Hulk form, I think there's a world where the Hulk remembers, but Bruce Banner doesn't remember. And I think that could be an interesting dynamic for the movie as well. But that's just like an early prediction. There's no thought, like, you know, evidence for that, but it would be a cool way to make the Hulk a really like central, cool figure in the movie.
I heard about that as well, you know, Savage Hulk possibly remembering. And then, you know, just thinking back, you know, I don't know, because when Spider-Man first came to like the Avengers, as far as the MCU timeline, in Civil War, I believe, and that was kind of when Hulk like left, you know, to a different planet, and it was, you know, in the armor and everything. So I would love for Savage Hulk to remember, because you when we look at him, we just see a monster. He doesn't really talk, doesn't do anything except for like the Black Widow singing and stuff. So it would be super dope to see him remember Spider-Man. I just don't know. I don't know how much it would make sense as far as the MCU timeline goes. But but it would be dope to see. It would definitely be dope to see.
Did they have interaction? I'm trying to think back. How much interaction did this iteration of
Battlefield and Endgame? You know, so like you have stuff like that.
Okay.
And there's like years between technically where they would have got to know each other, but they didn't have too much of a direct relationship. I don't know. It could be a cool thing, but then it would be kind of so key that, you know, what do you do with that? And that's unless they kind of rip the Band-Aid off. And even though people forgot, you know, like Chris mentioned, like there's a really good chance that MJ's going to remember him by the end of the film. Or I think at the very least, she remembers having some type of love or relationship with Spider-Man. And now it's like, well, who's under the mask? Because, like, you know, it's that memory sitting in the back of her head. So I don't know how long, with such a big thing like Doomsday coming up, you could really do this whole nobody knows him thing. So who knows if it lasts this whole film or it's done by the end of the film. But, you know, that we'll see when it happens.
Okay. Any other thoughts on Spider-Man trailer, Chris Tex?
So many, man. I'm just super excited. You know, I've seen so many different theories. Like, I don't know, you know, when he's fighting the Hand, there's a scene when they're all like in an abandoned prison, right? And they're fighting, and he like his webs just shatter a sword, and it almost seems fake, and it kind of gives off Danger Room vibes. I don't know if you guys you know, where like with X-Men, like almost like a training facility
in the
it kind of gives off those vibes, which could be, you know, they also show him, you know, getting scanned, which is like, are they scanning him to see if he's a mutant? So it kind of gives off maybe like a virtual reality vibe to it, which would be dope. With the only thing with that is if that's happened, that means the Hand's not actually in it, which means that, you know, Daredevil might not be as big of a role. But you know, there's just so many
scenes would be crazy, like the Hand not appearing in the movie but being in there, I think, to some degree. But I don't think we're spending, like, I don't think villains, for the most part, maybe outside of Scorpion, are getting more than like 10-15 minutes in the movie. Clearly he's gonna run through. I think like guys like Tarantula and Boomerang are going to be like a montage. Like, oh, here's what I've been doing in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and it's him just like smacking like 3 or 4 the fuck up. But I think like guys like Tombstone and Scorpion kind of call for a little bit of a bigger role. Like these are useful villains who could almost get their own kind of like film in their own right as the main antagonist.
Yeah.
So I hope they do right by them, because those are 2 villains that, like I said, like I think could be and have been kind of like solo projects before. So, but there's so many. I just hope that they have enough in the runtime, and there's not so many characters that nobody gets to breathe, or there's no standouts, because there is the possibility of that. But I think the change in the directorial direction should help, and I'm expecting big things.
Did they announce the runtime yet or no?
I don't believe that they have, but you got to think it would have to be, I mean, creeping towards like 2 hours and 20 minutes at the very least.
Yeah,
sure.
And I'm not mad. Spider-Man is right up there with like, there's certain projects where I'll give leeway. Like if it's an Avengers, a Doomsday, like I'm expecting a 3-hour movie, to be honest. I don't expect that often. I don't want that often, but there's movies also like Spider-Man that if it's 2.5 hours, I will be seated. Like regardless.
Okay, fair enough. Gentlemen, I got to ask you one, or is there anything else you want to add, Chris?
No, that's it, man. I'm super excited for this film, man.
Final question about Spider-Man. Is Tom Holland approaching #1 Spider-Man status?
Approaching. He's been
I'm a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man fan, but it's looking like Tom Holland might be the best Spider-Man.
Frank, I'm old too, and the nostalgia kicks in with Tobey Maguire. Tom Holland is light years ahead of Andrew and Tobey. Like
light years?
Light years. It's not even close.
It's tough. I think there's also like a matter of opportunity. Like how much of Tom Holland's Spider-Man have we seen across like team up films and like his own films? You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many that it's getting to the point, how could he not be #1? Like he's held the position for so long, and he has like classic projects in there. It's not like, oh, like a bunch of it was ass. No, like he was great in his debut in Civil War. No Way Home is an instant classic, 5 stars. Like Far From Home, Homecoming was really good, and even if you don't like Far From Home, some people hate it. I still thought it was good. Like I don't think he's put out
very good. Yeah,
I think every
Spider-Man projects. Yeah, I think that there's something special though about what Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire did. It's so simple. Like when we talk about Tom Holland finally getting like a street level film again. That's what all of Tobey Maguire's stuff was. And that's what it really, I mean, like I was born in, I think it was like the 4th, 5th movie I ever watched in my life. I've watched it like 200 times to this point. So I think the designs, all of that, it's so comic booky, but Tom Holland's gotten so many opportunities, and I think he's going to do another trilogy. He's signed on for at least 5. I'm pretty sure more after this. And 2 more appearances in other Avengers films. He'll be doing this another 10 years, dude. So there's, he's gonna.
He's also younger. I mean that man. I mean Tobey, even when he made those movies, like I felt like I was watching a 40-year-old man portray. Peter Parker to be a high school kid.
Tobey Maguire in high school was crazy.
Tobey play a high schooler was great. Andrew looked a little younger. Andrew fit in as a high schooler, but seeing Tobey be a high schooler looked insane. And then coming back, and just being like 50, it's kind of crazy. I just feel like Tom Holland portrays that character more, and like his. Just the way he acts, it's just he's by far the best ones. But are we all in agreement that Tobey is second?
Yeah,
sure.
And I mean, Andrew didn't even finish his trilogy. I don't even think he was some horrendous Spider-Man.
No, he wasn't bad.
But it's Sony. I could get now. That's something I could talk about forever. You know what
I mean? Okay. So now we move on to Daredevil. I'm not gonna lie. I love Matt Murdock as Daredevil. I just love the Daredevil series. I can't think of he's one of the best actors to nail their character.
Yeah, Charlie
Cox. He really embodies Daredevil.
Amazing.
And I love the previous I loved all of the Daredevil stuff before, but this Born Again just feels real dark. And it's the kind of dark that I wanted to see from Daredevil, I'm not sure about what's going on with Kingpin, but we'll get into that later. Gentlemen, how do you feel right now where Daredevil Born Again is heading?
I feel like this season is going to be so critical for everything coming up with Punisher and leading into Spider-Man. I think we're going to get a lot of things going towards that storyline. I really enjoyed Born Again season 1, and like you said, I enjoyed the ones on Netflix too. But Born Again season 1 just felt more. This is not a word, but felt more Marvel-y. Like it just felt like how it's supposed to be. So So I'm really excited for this Daredevil, and like you said, Charlie Cox does an amazing job. I really wish we could really see Kingpin on feature films. He could be that type of villain where it's like he could be a villain for multiple movies, and like he's that good, and he's that much of a villain to multiple superheroes, where he could kind of be like the the guy above everyone, the guy who gets Scorpion out of the prison, he has that type of power. So I'm just excited to see where Kingpin's story goes, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Storm.
Yeah, the series is not. I mean, their castings, and there's a reason that. How often do you see a show get canceled and like 7-8 years later, like the cast, not just the show, but the cast gets picked back up? And Vincent D'Onofrio is like a film legend, you know what I'm saying? So he's incredible as Kingpin. And then Charlie Cox is Daredevil, and I think before that, our best adaptation wasn't even the people who played it. It was like cartoon cameos. So he was the first guy that it's like, yeah, like this God avenged Ben Affleck being the only Daredevil that we had. So
Ben Affleck. He wasn't.
I knew Ben Rivers was going to come up.
Yeah,
I like Ben Affleck. Y'all didn't like Ben Affleck.
I'll never forget. Yeah, Ben Affleck jumping 100 feet off a building. He can't fucking fly. Like the guy just has some nunchucks. You know what I'm saying? So they were wild. But I think that this has the potential to be as good as any season from the Netflix series, because I think this is what season 1 really built up to. I still like season 1, but I think in totality, it's definitely a season that is more so leading to like whatever, like the second half and like the battling and what will actually, I think, be like the prevalent things like happened in a season 3 of Daredevil before it went away for a while, where most of those 3 seasons crescendoed into that. I want to see desperately Bullseye in at least a semi-comic accurate fit. And another thing from the original movie, because Daredevil is one of my personal favorites. So I've been scorned by having like Colin Farrell with just the fucking carvings in his head. The new adaptation has been, I think that the purple suit does have some comic basis, but I want to see him white, black with the fucking bullseye, real simple.
You want the bullseye on the forehead.
Yeah, and he was really good in season 1 though, and I can't wait to see what he come back and does. Punisher, and I like the storyline they were going with in season 1, all those crooked cops that almost like looked at him as a symbol, and he's like, this is gross. Like maybe make him realize a little bit more like what he does has effects and actually works against his mission in some ways when you don't give a fuck at all. So I can't wait to see what they do. I think they wasted Muse a little bit in season 1. He could have went into season 2, but I'm pretty sure they didn't, because they have a huge plan for what Kingpin's going to do, what Bullseye's going to do, and any other characters they throw in between. So
you said they wasted who?
Muse, the
Muse.
Who was a great villain.
And I thought he was great. And I think there's a storyline you could have kept going with there. You know, I still like the season though. I gave it like an 8 out of 10, but I'm hoping this is like really another classic season to remind us of the greatness that was the first 3 seasons on Netflix. So
we're also going to see Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones come back, and same cast again as far as the Netflix goes. I think that she was good. I think the actor who played Luke Cage was good. Iron Fist. I don't want to really talk about it too much.
Are we shut up, Danny Rand? Are we getting all the Defenders?
Defenders? I don't know. I don't know if we are. Hopefully we don't have Iron Fist until he's made it better. But I don't know. I know Jessica Jones is going to be in it. And I enjoyed that series.
You would think Luke Cage would have to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it being
especially with Jessica Jones being in there.
And I think Luke Cage was like a really, really good show up until they made him hit the dab after a fight. I don't know why they did that.
I don't know why they killed off Cottonmouth. I thought Cottonmouth was an excellent villain.
Luke Cage, first season of the Luke Cage show was all right, man. So they want to bring it back, and it's just, it can seem like spam to people, like all these projects, but these guys have like real basis. Like there's a character. That's what makes something like Marvel cool, is like, yo, you cannot like 98% of it, but you could just fucking like Luke Cage. You could just be strange. Like that's just what you like. And I think giving all those options is what the comics was about, the video games, anything we've loved Marvel for, that's what it is. So when they introduce all of these new characters, some people can call it like overloaded or too many, but I think it's giving people like different options of what they could be fans of. So
I gotta ask y'all what y'all think about them killing off Foggy and killing White Tiger. I thought those are 2 very interesting decisions.
So I was gonna mention that I didn't know how much, if people didn't watch season 1, how much we're gonna spoil, but I mean it is what it is.
We're here now.
I hated seeing Foggy die, man. White Tiger,
terrible.
it is what it is. We don't get a lot of Hispanic representation in Marvel, but he died. It is what it is. But Foggy killed me, man. Here I am crying watching a Marvel TV show, not even a movie. But yeah, man. I mean, it is what it is. We move forward, right? People die. We don't know what the reason why they killed him off. It could be contract issues. I always think anytime a character unexpectedly dies, they had some type of conflict with casting, and so.
But he's like the heart of the show, if we're being honest.
From season 1, from Netflix series.
Yeah.
Oh wait, did you finish your thought?
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say actually both deaths, like they are tough, but that's kind of the point of it. Like deaths in shows are things you're supposed to dread or hate because that's kind of the reaction you have to death in real life. You know what I'm saying? And that's the most they can evoke. So Foggy's something where I'm leaning towards what Chris is saying. There's probably more to it on the business side for why he couldn't just continue being on the show, but his death fueled all of season 1, and I think is going to do a lot it's a motivation for Daredevil to begin with. Like it's another layer of the character that you don't get unless he loses someone like that close to him and then tries to commit a murder, and everything. And then White Tiger also, while not like as emphasized, is a part of it where they are telling a story of like profiling, and it's a fucked up situation where everything's against him. He still beats the case. He's here to save people. And it doesn't matter because that's how fucked up shit is over there. Police still kill him right there. Like that's the themes that they're trying to play on the show. That's the story and the message that they're trying to give. So it's like a sad case of what we already know is a sad case, but those deaths are to get you angry. So you hate like the movement, you hate what Kingpin's doing. And it's supposed to reflect awesome issues in real life. So I think it's kind of like real, obvious ways of doing it. But that is part of telling a show and trying to get emotion out of the viewer. So I think they're necessary deaths, whether you like them or not.
Understood. Are there, not to get too political, and I don't want us to get too caught up in it, but are there some parallels between Kingpin and real life? Having a political figure who's using his own personal militia to like.
You're trying to talk about Trump?
Without getting too deep into it.
Who could you be talking
about? Are there parallels?
I wonder.
Are there parallels, or are people?
I think Marvel has always had parallels to actual real life stuff. Between especially with X-Men and Magneto and Xavier. There's always been so many ties to real life shit. People saying one is Martin Luther King, one is Malcolm X. And like they've always had those theories, and I think Kingpin, sure, there's definitely some similarities, and I think you're going to see it more as X-Men now gets introduced to the MCU. I think we're going to see a lot of those political influences on these films for sure.
And Daredevil is also someone who always is going to be leaning into that due to that's the nature of the character, working as a lawyer in Hell's Kitchen, mostly doing pro bono work to help the needy. So it's a character that extra, has that kind of basis to his character already, and it's also one of the reasons that the Netflix series was great. Like the way that Daredevil was able to tackle like serious topics. Like it's been hard for Marvel to have a show, or it used to be hard for them to make shows that also held like serious emotional weight. And that's why Daredevil had such high expectations when they brought it back. So I'm hoping that we get more of that. And we got a little bit of that in season 1, but like, turn that all the way up for season 2.
Okay. Do y'all like the shift? So Vincent D'Onofrio, as we all agree, is an incredible actor, and what he's done with Kingpin is phenomenal. Salute to Michael Clark Duncan, but this is my Kingpin. Do y'all like the shift? There's been a shift in the character as he presents. Like, I think he's a little lighter. Definitely, we got to watch him do some more fighting physically. There's just little subtle things that are shifting with the Kingpin character. What do y'all think about that? Because in my mind, and especially in the comics, Kingpin was just this ginormous guy. But now they're kind of shifting little things here and there. What are y'all thoughts?
I like the political aspect of Kingpin, being mayor and all that stuff. And then also, seeing him, have regular conversations, it makes the dark scenes better for me. Like the times where you see like kind of like a switch in his head and he just turns and just starts beating someone with his bare fist till they die. Like it just makes those scenes have more impact, because you're kind of seeing, I guess, kind of like the bipolarness of the character. I enjoy it. I know we mentioned Charlie Cox being like one of the best, actors portraying that role. I think Kingpin is top 3 in
incredible.
Vincent, the way he portrays that character is just perfection.
He
So
is that character. It feels like.
Yeah. So I have I got nothing negative to say about Vincent. I think they're doing an amazing job with how they're utilizing his character. I just can't wait, like I said before, to see him on feature films.
Yeah,
Okay.
I couldn't agree more. And that's the one thing I'd like to see now after what I think inevitably will be a great season of television is at some point him and Tom Holland Spider-Man crossing ways, whether that involves Tom, because obviously he's also contracted to do other appearances besides just his Spider-Man movies. I don't know how that works with like television series or whatnot, but those feel like two characters that would like really benefit one way or another, whether it's in DareDevil show or it's in a Spider-Man movie from crossing paths. But listen, these are two exciting projects, and I think I love that Marvel kind of brought the volume down. I think absence makes the heart grow fonder, and now like it's been a minute since we got like a film of this magnitude from them, and then I'm sure either when it's out, somewhere around there, we're getting the Doomsday trailer. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out with the movie or something of that regard. So it's a good time to be a Marvel fan, man. It's a couple $1 billion films on the way. So,
yep.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask y'all this: what are y'all thoughts on why Blade movie hasn't been brought to the forefront?
I think a lot of it has to do with the business aspect of it. More than the storyline aspect. We would love to see Blade. We got to kind of see him in what was it?
Eternal, his voice.
Wolverine. Was it Wolverine and Deadpool when he was?
Oh yeah, Wesley Snipes came back.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes came back as that Blade, but I don't know. I just feel like it has to be something on the business side. I mean, people don't give Blade enough respect as far as one of being the first Marvel movie. You know what I mean? Like it was the first time we got to see that. But I don't have an answer as to why we haven't seen it. But I hear it back on, greenlit, then shut down again. Then it's back on, then it's shut down again. It's just we don't know what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen at this point.
Yeah, do we want to see Wesley return, or is there somebody else?
Now let's be entirely serious here. Wesley Snipes not coming back, especially if they want a long-term Blade. And I heard, it's so tough with rumors because now there's so many pages that are like want to be reliable pages and get followed.
And talk of Midnight Suns and all this stuff.
There's talk of that. It's already
that. I would love Midnight Suns.
And I'm not gonna lie, if he did debut with Midnight Suns, I wouldn't hate that. I do think it's a little disrespectful as a whole to Marsha Ali, who they cast for Blade, and a world-class actor who I think could do fantastic things in the role. And then obviously Ryan Coogler wrote a script. One of their most trusted and best directors over there for some years now. It doesn't pan out, and he brings a lot of those elements over to Sinners. And I'd say that worked out pretty fucking well. You know what I'm saying? For everyone involved. So it's unfortunate that there's been, from a period piece to this to that. And if I had to guess why it hadn't come out, I think it's something that we can relate to, even in something like battle rap or other sports that we like. Executives arguing, people wanting to get their way. No, it's going to make $1 billion. Remember, the Wesley Snipes trio is trilogy is the one that got us off the feet, and not settling an idea because there's like 12 chefs in the kitchen, and half of them probably don't even love Marvel the way the actual staff does. So I'm sure that's gotten in the way. But if he does debut in a Midnight Suns movie, I think that might even be the best course of action because it's been like 8 years. This thing has been sitting in development hell, and hopefully Marsha Ali is still portrays him, because whenever he debuts, I don't think it's going to be a actor playing the role issue at all. So I can't wait for that. It's unfortunate. Even the game is they announced the game for Xbox and then nothing comes out. So that happens a lot with Marvel. They get ahead of themselves, and I feel like they stop early.
Funny you brought up the game. I did play the game. I have the game for PlayStation. The Midnight Suns game. It's like a trading card strategy game. But listen, when I say I buy everything Marvel, I bought that Midnight Suns game and I played that shit for like 50 hours.
The trailer though, the one remember they're gonna drop the one they said for like his own standalone game. They had a whole trailer for E3 and then just like nothing.
And then that fell apart. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna list off. So actually, I'm gonna do two things before we get to this. One, Chris, I believe you have something you want to show us, some Marvel memorabilia. Would you like to show?
Oh man, I just got my my little Marvel encyclopedia here. I actually have another book upstairs with that kind of goes over the different groups of Marvel and like stories. So anytime something comes out, I'll just open it up as in alphabetical order and I'll read about the characters. Duchess will read me bedtime stories about about specific characters. I was just I had it out because I was reading on Wonder Man, because I knew we were gonna do this, and I did watch the show, but just to get some more more information. But I love looking at shit like this, man. This was a gift from Duchess a couple of years ago, and
awesome gift.
Yeah,
awesome.
And it's an awesome gift. It's dope to have, honestly.
So we were gonna talk about Wonder Man, but our chemistry is so great, and I want to give Jay Schmo the time to be able to watch it. So Schmo, we are extending our official We the Fans Marvel challenge to you. So watch Wonder Man so that we can circle back and have
I heard it was good too. Like I
It
heard
was a quick watch too, short episode.
Like under the radar type of ordeal. So
yeah, it was actually, it ended up really good. I had low expectations going into it because I didn't even know what was going on. But by the end of the show, I was very pleased that I took the time to watch it.
Agreed.
Absolutely. So chat one other Marvel thing, not something we have to talk about either, but I will I'm marking off days on the calendar for when the Wolverine game drops. I think that Insomniac's done amazing.
September 15th.
September, yeah. It should be that should be classic in its own right. And to me, that's almost as important as any movie or project they have coming out. So hopefully that's classic.
Can't wait.
So my final question for us for this wonderful Marvel panel that we have here is TV show sequels. Ironheart, Hawkeye, and who else should Moon Knight. These three shows. Should these three shows get sequels?
So Hawkeye, I know the actor Jeremy Renner. He already said that they offered him half the salary for season 2 that they did for season 1. So I'm not sure if that's ever gonna happen. Did they officially say it's happening?
Which is crazy. And I think it's because he got into God bless him. He got into some kind of accident, and
he did.
The studio thought he would only do half the work. Yeah. So, but I haven't heard anything, and I liked Hawkeye. I actually just recently watched Hawkeye. I had skipped it, but I went back and watched it. It's really good.
I thought it was cool.
My only thing with something like Hawkeye, and it's a little bit different than the other two, is Hawkeye by the end of the season served its purpose, like to give Yelena her story, which then she paid off greatly in Thunderbolts. To have Echo introduced, I'm not really sure. That's one of those characters that might get lost in the mix. That's part of.
Yeah, we don't know where they're going with that.
Part of the comics that happens. They introduce characters that they end up like fading away. So, but I don't feel like there's the need. Like it'd be cool if they brought it back, and I'm sure Kate Bishop will appear in some other film eventually to continue her story. But like. Jeremy Renner gave a great, he is the Hawkeye. It's like, I can't imagine anyone else as Hawkeye, but if this is where his story ends in Marvel per se, unless they kill him off in another film real quick or off screen or something like that, I wouldn't be mad at it. I thought the show was cool. Ironheart and Moon Knight could both use sequels, but it's not overly prevalent, I think, to the overall plan of Marvel. And I think with what Doomsday is going to do with retconning and kind of taking the parts they want, leaving the parts they don't, there's a good chance that even storylines they haven't capped off will kind of be wiped in like a new universe and like a clean slate from day one. But I really wanted Ironheart season 2. I love the stuff with Mephisto that they brought up, but there's only so many people that can get projects, especially with them cutting the volume down. So
was Ironheart good? I haven't seen it yet. Was Ironheart good?
Ironheart's good. Ironheart's real good, in my opinion.
Okay.
I enjoyed Ironheart. I loved the way it ended, because I waited for this character to show up for so many different things that he never showed up in. So he finally showed up. So that was exciting to see.
Are we talking about Mephisto or who are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about Mephisto. I'm trying not to give as many spoilers as possible, but it's okay. Yeah, I'm talking about Mephisto, man.
It's been out for over. I didn't even know Frank.
It's been out for some time. Yeah.
I didn't know if I thought it was gonna be a WandaVision. I thought it was gonna be an Agatha, and he just never kind of showed up. So I'm happy. I was super excited when he finally showed up.
Series every day about Mephisto. It's him on the wall. That's what it means. I remember.
Yeah, he's the rabbit. He's all the time. But Moon Knight, I fucking love Moon Knight, man. I might be in the minority here, but I really, really enjoyed Moon Knight, and Duchess watches all of them with me. She's super spiritual, so they're doing all these different gods, and she pauses it and starts explaining to me the history. I'm like, all right, but in general, we both really, really like Moon Knight, and it kind of just disappeared. I agree with Smo. I know they're going into like a kind of like a hard reset in the near future, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just don't continue it. But I would love to see another Moon Knight.
And if
So
they do, that's good news
ahead.
for him. That's good. If a Midnight Suns film, and that does seem to be heavily rumored, and also Oscar Isaac is like not just like some regular actor we're talking about. Like this is an
incredible actor. Yeah.
So like I'm sure that's someone that they would love to continue. Like they don't want to do one-offs as like heroes with actors. I don't think for the most part. If the MCU always has like a forward plan. They always say they plan ahead, and I'm sure getting someone like Moon Knight that is a fan favorite type of character, and now the rumors of Midnight Suns, I don't think it's the last we see of him. I just don't think he'll get another season of his show. That's the best way.
I love that show though. I really love that show.
I wish there was more fight scenes, but it kind of made the few fight scenes super impactful. Like
agreed. They kind of really delved into the mental health aspect of it all, and but yeah, no. So if they do Midnight Suns, would that be when they premiere the new Blade? Do we get a new Ghost Rider while we're on the subject of Midnight?
For sure. I mean, Ghost Rider is definitely going to be a new actor. It's not going to be it's not going to be Cage, right? But Ghost Rider, the younger version of Ghost Rider, is definitely part of that Midnight Suns group, and Blade is, and Moon Knight is, and Nico. There's going to be so many different and older characters that we could bring back like Moon Knight, and then newer characters that they could bring into it. I would love a Midnight Sun, and I don't know what type of genre they're looking to do. If they're trying to do like a horror type film, like I don't even remember like the Werewolf by Night?
Werewolf by Night, yeah.
So I don't know if they're going with that type of vibe. But I would be super excited for that.
Okay, Shmo, you wanted to add something?
No, I just a Midnight Suns film, even though we haven't gotten anything on it, I just think it would tie together so many other characters that people love. There's people, Ghost Rider is also like up there, Daredevil, Ghost Rider, like some of these like darker characters were some of my favorites growing up. I know that for years people have kind of almost like jokingly tried to like this Ryan Gosling rumor that he's going to play it. I definitely think they'd go younger. I think it'd be pretty cool if they got like an actor of that level to play the role, and it would show the respect they have for the draw it's probably going to have. But I'd probably prefer them to go younger actors really across the board. Like whoever they're casting in the next 2 to 3 years, whatever they plan to do after Doomsday, what made Marvel great was continuity. Like you got to watch these actors when they first got the role grow after 10 years. When you start throwing guys in for one project at a time, that's when you started to lose connection, and like a Chris Evans doesn't get developed, or Robert Downey. These were already big time actors, but where it took them to seeing their journey with the character. So I hope they shoot on the younger side like they plan on doing with X-Men, so we can like grow with seeing that face in that role for 10, 12 years, and then it means a little bit more. So just so much excitement for Marvel going into the next couple of years, man. I think they're getting right.
And the fact that Disney owns Fox now, it makes it's huge as far as even with Midnight Suns, you're going to get some X-Men in there, you get Magic, Colossus Sister, there's so many extra things that they could do that they could finally talk about fucking mutants.
This was an excellent conversation. For our next meetup, I want to discuss Wonder Man, Thunderbolts, and I definitely want to talk about X-Men. Those will be the 3 subjects we tackle the next time we meet up, because I still haven't gotten my Rogue. I think Rogue was such a huge character for me growing up and stuff. I can't believe we haven't gotten a Rogue iteration on the screen. It's just crazy to me.
So I don't know if you want to go back to the Spider-Man trailer. There's a little rumor that when he hits against the bus, there's a girl there with like white streaks, and I don't think there's no way that's Rogue.
I mean, she literally has Rogue's hair. I doubt that this random woman on the bus, like, it might just be a joke to get fans going.
It has to be.
You pause in the trailer, like towards the end, like there's a girl with headphones on that looks like Rogue. Yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned that. And she did get an adaptation of the Fox X-Men, but it was just ass. So yeah, like a real one would probably be.
I hate that. But nonetheless, gentlemen, I appreciate you pulling up. Smo, the challenge has been extended. You let us know when you finish Wonder Man so we can reconvene. All right, gentlemen, I appreciate your time. We the fans of Marvel. We're out of here.
Yes, sir.